Hi friends, my name is Millie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to bring you my May TBR. So it's been a little while since I've posted on this channel. I have had a really bad cold / hay fever thing going on and I completely lost my voice. So I haven't actually been able to film anything because I sounded like a dying frog. But as you can see, I've got my voice back, so I'm going to be trying to catch up with YouTube a bit, bring you some more videos, just try and recover from losing my voice. So of course we have to start off with my May TBR, and I did completely fail at my April TBR, so I'm hoping we'll be more successful in May. Who knows? We'll see. I'm gonna pull 6 prompts once again like we did for the April TBR, and we'll just roll with it. I'm such a mood reader that picking a TBR is kind of pointless for me, but I do really enjoy making these videos, so we're going to carry on anyway. So the first prompt that we're going to pick out is going to be a retelling. Okay, so for a retelling we are going to go with Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. This is an absolutely beautiful book, by the way. I'm obsessed with this cover. But this is a retelling of Greek mythology. I believe the Odyssey. I love Greek mythology, but I always get confused between what stories are from the Odyssey and what are from the Iliad. So we'll say the Odyssey. If I'm wrong, I do apologise. But in this book you have the cursed kingdom of Ithaca, where each summer brings the hanging of 12 maidens, a gift to the vengeful Poseidon. For 17 years Leto has escaped the curse's mark until now. But death does not claim Leto. Instead she waits on a mysterious island, greeted by the immortal Melantho. She tells Leto that Ithaca's sacrifices are the legacy of the great Odysseus, the Odyssey then. Payment for the lives of Queen Penelope's 12 maids cast into the ocean centuries ago. Leto has the chance to break the curse. She just has to kill the Prince of Ithaca. But Prince Matthias also seeks to free his kingdom from the curse. But torn by her growing love for both Melantho and Matthias, Leto must choose a path to follow. By breaking the curse they will save thousands of lives, but if they fail then the tides of fate will drown them all. That sounds so good. I love the idea of that. I love anything to do with Greek mythology as well. So I am very excited to hopefully get to this in May. Prompt number 2 is a book under 200 pages. Oh, I mean, a very nice and kind prompt, but do I have anything that's under 200 pages? Okay, I'm going to go with the next book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, which is Before We Say Goodbye by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is the 4th book in that series, and none of the books have been 5 stars for me, but something about them is just so lovely and sweet and charming, and I just always have a good time while reading these books. So I'm really excited to get to the next installment. And obviously this is gorgeous and pink and there's a cat, so what more can you want? But if you haven't heard of or read the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, it is basically about a cafe in Japan where you can go in, order a pot of coffee or a cup of coffee, and you can travel back in time. You have to sit at a certain seat in the cafe, and you can only go and visit someone who has also visited the cafe before, and only when they visited it. So you can't just travel to whenever you want. Can't like travel back to the Stone Age or whatever. But it's a really beautiful collection of stories. There's about 4 stories in each installment of the series, and it really discusses grief and love and loss and kindness and friendship, and I just think it's such a beautiful way to look at life, and I am really excited for this one, although the title does make me think maybe this one will be even sadder than the previous installments, but I'm still here for it. Prompt number 3. A friend's recommendation. I mean, I have a lot of recommendations from my friends, but what am I going to go for? Okay, so this was on my April TBR and I didn't get around to reading it, which is really bad because I loved the first installment in this series, and it is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. So this is recommended by my friend Naya, who absolutely loves the Ember in the Ashes series or the Ember Quartet. She was yelling at me for absolute years to read the series, and I I finally did last year, read the first book and absolutely loved it. It ended up in my top 10 books of 2024. It was 5 stars, 6-star read, and after how the book ended, I'm scared. So I really want to get on to the next instalment before I forget things that happened, and also just to still be in that emotion. But if you haven't heard of the Ember Quartet, the first book follows Elias and Leia, who are both involved in this empire. They kind of both want this empire to fall. It's a kind of ancient Rome inspired martial fantasy, and although it's YA, it's quite brutal, so you can definitely read and enjoy it as an adult and still be taken aback by what happens. So I'm really excited to continue with this series, but I feel like I'm gonna cry a lot as the series goes on, so I'm scared. Prompt number 4 is a book published in June. I was really hoping that this prompt would come up because I knew exactly what I would choose for it if it did, and that is Ladies' Night by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I am so excited for this book, you guys. You do not understand how excited I am for this book. First of all though, on the front it says lock up your dragons, it's Ladies' Night, and everything about this just screams so much fun. I am very excited. So we don't have a proper synopsis in this proof copy, which I was very kindly sent by the publisher, so thank you very much for that. But on the back it says, Lord Whimsit welcomes you to the tournament of the Dragon Slayers at Darkhaven Castle. Compete for fame, glory, and the hand of the fairest maiden in the land. With a little asterisk next to it. Only the bravest knights need apply. And then the asterisk says, Lord Whimsit accepts no responsibility for lance wounds, tramplings, or other knightly injuries. A blacksmith's daughter with a secret, a lady with a plan, we're in for one unforgettable night. Everything just sounds so good with this book. I am so excited, and it comes out in June, so hopefully I will actually read this before it comes out properly. Prompt number 5 is a TBR veteran. I mean, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of TBR veterans on my shelf because I'm really terrible at keeping up to date with my TBR, but I'm going to count this as any book that I've had for longer than 2 years, so there's also a lot of those. Okay, so for TBR veteran, I've gone with King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. I have had this on my TBR for probably like 4 years now. I don't even know exactly how long, but a long time. And this is a spin-off duology, or the start of a spin-off duology, set in the same world as Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone, both of which I really, really enjoyed. But I read them, like 4 or 5 years ago, so do I remember a whole lot? No. But I have watched the TV show multiple times, so I do feel pretty familiar with the world still. I'm just not entirely familiar with where the main character of this book, which is Prince Nikolai from Shadow and Bone. I don't know where he ended up in the last Shadow and Bone book, but we'll roll with it. I really love Leigh Bardugo. This is a world inspired by Russian folklore, I think, and in the Shadow and Bone trilogy, you followed Alina. Yeah, her name was Alina, who turned out to have powers of light, and there was this fold where these creatures roamed in the darkness and whatever. There's a whole world saving thing going on, and Nikolai was a side character in that series, but he was a fan favourite, and now we have got his story and I need to read it and find out. I don't know why I've put it off for so long. For some reason I just feel a bit intimidated by it. It's not even that long, it's about 500-ish pages if that, but for some reason I just feel really intimidated by it. But I know if I don't get around to reading it soon, I feel like I'm never going to get around to reading this series, so I do need to hurry up and read Nikolai's story, so hopefully I will in May. Okay, and our final prompt number 6, is going to be same title as a song. Oh, I feel like this could be tricky. Okay, so it took me far too long to find a book with the same title as a song, but I've gone with Begin Again by Emma Lord. So this is a YA contemporary, and I really enjoy a lot of Emma Lord's books. Her most recent one, which I had NetGalley arc for, which was The Rival, I didn't enjoy that much, but I've really enjoyed a lot of her stories, so I am very excited for this one. This one is about Andy Rose, who has a plan. transfer from community college to the competitive Blue Ridge State, major in psychology, and become an iconic self-help figure. All it will take is ruthless organisation and her trademark unrelenting enthusiasm to pull it together. But the moment Andy arrives, her plans go off the rails. Her boyfriend is MIA and she's met Milo, who's disrupting all her ideas about love one wisecrack at a time. When her dreams of following in her much-missed mother's footsteps seem to falter at the first hurdle, Andy learns that the best laid plans are not necessarily the right ones. An unforgettable novel of love and starting again. So obviously this has the same title as a Taylor Swift song, Begin Again, which is one of my favourite songs ever. And I am very excited to get to this. So this is what my May TBR is looking like. I am feeling very happy about all of these picks and hopeful that I will get to at least half of them is my goal. Then I'll feel like I've achieved something, and then the next month we can work to get into 4 of them, and then eventually to reading all of them. We'll see. So let me know in the comments what's on your May TBR. Have you read any of the books that I picked out and what did you think of them? Let me know that as well. If you'd like to follow me on my Goodreads or my Bookstagram, the links will be down in the description below, so go check those out. Like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye!